2020 to consider proposed 2021 tax budget. And for that, we would call on the Finance Department, Finance Director to speak first.
Harlita, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay, I think I fixed it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We had spoke about this last week at the Ways and Means meeting and at the work session, where this is the request that we will submit to Hamilton County for us to levy our property tax, which is a much needed request.
Okay. So I don't know how much public we've got out there, but I will go to the city manager next to see, Mr. Jones, do you have anything to add to at this point?
This is just to add on to a little bit of what Harlita had to say. This is what's called the tax budget. It's a preliminary step that we begin the tax process with. Essentially what this does is it allows us to make estimates of where we're going to be at the end of the year, and allows us to get we would have an estimated beginning balance or a certificate of estimated resources, which would allow us to go into next year. This then is then provided to the county auditor and the treasurer and the prosecutor and for the county tax commission, and they would then approve or disapprove, or they will approve this tax. What this does is allows us, it's the simple fact that allows us to levy our full millage of taxes that we would be entitled to, and proves that we have a need for them. Obviously, we do have a need for it based on this tax budget, and allows us to come up with what's called a certificate of estimated resources, which then is the maximum amount of money by each per fund that we're able to budget next year. So this is the very first preliminary step of beginning the actual budget, which would say how we're going to spend that money. This does not say how we're going to spend that money. This just estimates how much we're going to have available next year to spend.
Okay. I would turn next to any council members who would have any comments and or questions.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Even though that's kind of a default process with the budget, if there was a situation where they countered what was presented, is there a plan B, or if there was some rejection, or
what happens?
Are there subject lines that they say, well, we agree with this, but we don't agree with that?
What happens with the budget is it will go to Hamilton County auditors. It goes before the Budget Commission, and they can challenge us on certain revenue estimates that we make. And we would be required to show up at a hearing with the commission to explain why we are projecting numbers in a certain manner. And they can request that we reduce revenues, and we would have to come up with a alternate mechanism or alternate source of funding if we wanted to sustain our expenditures, or we'd have to cut our expenses. So yes, they can challenge the amount. The only time they've ever done that is in 2009 when we had the last recessionary period. They challenged our revenues, but I was able to prove why I had sustained it and that it would take effect for us a year later. And I showed them our 5-year forecast, and they accepted that. And we were close that particular year, but unfortunately that next year, that's when we had to cut staff.
Okay. Reggie, does that answer your question for you?
Yes. Yes.
Anyone else? Any other question or comment? Hearing no one at this time, we would open this up to questions and or comments. I go back to the city manager. Don, are we hooked up for the public to make any comments on this?
Yes, we did do a, this is open to the public and
Right.
available for public comment. I did not receive any public comment on email or any other means, Facebook or any of our communication channels. I didn't receive any comment with regards to the tax budget from the public or from any other, even if you want
Is in the event that there's someone from the public out there who wish to make a comment, this would be the time for you to make that connect with us. And if not, then I will not, according to my timepiece now, it shows 7:53. I will wait a couple of minutes to see if there's anybody from the public who would like to join, or if there are any other questions or comments from staff and or the council before, because normally I would just, if we were physically in session, I would just ask 3 times if there were any questions or comments, and I would just adjourn the meeting at that point. But because we're doing this virtually, instead of doing it that way, I will do it on a timed basis, and after a brief amount of time here, if there's nobody that has other comments, then I will adjourn this public hearing.
I will comment a little bit.
Go ahead, Don.
Sitting here, this will be filed once it's passed. It'll be on the agenda this evening. And once it's passed, assuming it passes, it'll be filed with the county auditor's office. And the thing that we get back, again, is a certificate of estimated resource, but really we have to accept the rates. So they send us back an estimate. Really what they provide us, we provide all the estimates in here. But the main thing that the county provides us is an estimate for property taxes that they believe we will collect, which is a basis for which we move forward with our budget. So that'll be kind of the result of all of this, will be an estimated property tax bill, excuse me, estimated property tax receipts for the upcoming year.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Hearing nobody at this point, then I would adjourn the public hearing. And